All right, let's see. Welcome. I don't see it. Do I see it? Oh, okay, good. Yeah, everybody's looks like everybody's coming in right now. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you don't know, I am Dr. Group, and we will be talking about a very controversial subject today, but more or less just answering a lot of questions. And the topic of today's discussion is urotherapy, the ancient art of self-healing, or basically known as urine therapy or drinking your own pee. And I mean, I have to say that I've been aware of this for over 25 years. I've used it off and on for over 25 years, have not really publicly came out and talked about it until I finished extensive research for about 10, 11 months. And I've actually been heavily involved in trying this on myself for over 100 days now. I think I'm on day like 120 or something like that. Because it's just like, I always want to do everything myself. When I talk about water only fasting or meditation or the things that we have for free, because really what my mission is to teach people that they have everything. God has given you everything you need to heal yourself for free. I have been heavily ridiculed. I've been told not to talk about this. I've lost clients because of just mentioning. They think I'm completely insane telling people to drink their pee. And this is exactly the kind of brainwashing, the kind of manipulation, the kind of deception that we live in this world today. People just assume that whatever they read in books, whatever they hear through the mainstream media is the truth. And you really have to become a free thinker. You have to be able to have an open mind. And I know most of the people that are on watching now have an open mind, but it's I just said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and talk about it, and I'm going to do it because my mission is to try to get information out there to help everybody, and so they can take responsibility for their own health. They can become their own healer. That in reality, that's what's happened. They've tried to take away your own self-healing mechanism, your own ability to heal yourself by you looking outside of yourself for answers instead of going within for answers. So I know that I'm just getting started actually on, I've been talking about this probably for a few months now in different channels and presenting it at different conferences and in different groups, Telegram groups, and the Global Healing Institute. We just launched the urotherapy course there. So if you're interested in taking a more in-depth course, go to globalhealinginstitute.org and you can sign up for the urotherapy course there. But the one thing that I've had a lot of is questions. And so that's what I want to cover today. I want to start going through a lot of the common questions that people have and see if I can answer those in a way that's very understandable and very easy. First off, let me just say that urotherapy is simple. It is very simple. It's your body producing your own perfect medicine. And as a matter of fact, I actually have a book right here. This is one of the best books. It's called Your Own Perfect Medicine by Martha Christie. And the title of it is awesome because it really is your own perfect medicine. Everybody is different. For 20 something years, we've been recommending cleansing programs and different ways, supplements, things you can do to bring your body back into balance, but nothing is as powerful as what you produce inside your body every single day. So just, people say there's no science behind this. I mean, this in the 10 months of me doing research, actually more than that, and looking at and talking to people and watching videos and doing as much as I can to dive deep into urotherapy. It's called JAISHIVAMBU. It's called Amaroli. I mean, it's been around since the beginning of time, and just in America, really. am I getting a lot of backlash as to, oh, this is crazy, urine is toxic, I can't believe you're telling people to do this, blah, blah, blah. But in reality, if you go anywhere outside the United States and you talk to people in India and China and the Philippines, really, and even in South America, they all say, oh yeah, we've been using that for a long time. My grandmother used to do it this way. My grandfather used to do it this way. So it's not something that's like really, completely strange. It's just that here in the US, we've been really taught that we need to, for everything, go run and find a doctor. And that's the medical system that's based upon treating the symptoms instead of treating the root cause. So what exactly is urine to begin with? I mean, people say, oh, that's gross or whatever. But the first thing I say is every single person on the planet has already drank their own urine. Because for the first 3 months or so, 3.5 months, when you are developing in the womb, you're drinking your mom's urine. And from that 3.5 month mark to that 4-month mark to the time that you're delivered, you drink urine. That's it. You breathe urine, you drink it up your nose, your mouth, everything. You live in a urine bubble. Some people say, oh yeah, that's fine and dandy, but that's gross. Well, do you eat red meat? Have you ever eaten red meat? What do you think's in red meat? Blood. You're basically eating blood. If you eat meat every single day, or if you eat meat a couple times a week, you're eating blood. What is urine? Urine is filtered blood. That's all it is. It's filtered blood plasma. It's sterile, it's distilled, and it's medicinal. It's the most researched organic compound on the earth. It's got massive amounts of benefits and uses. And that's the reason the mainstream media, the mainstream medical community hide it from you. I mean, most of the pharmaceuticals out there have one or more components that they've taken out of urine or they've extracted from urine. The cosmetic industry, the skincare industry, the personal hygiene industry. I could pretty much go into anybody's house probably and find some product that has urine in one way or another in it. The most expensive cosmetic products have urea in it. So it's not something that's, so woo-woo or anything to talk about. It's actually something that is extremely beneficial. And we're in a time right now where the earth is transitioning. We are all transitioning to becoming awakened, to becoming more conscious. Consciousness is just awareness. It's waking up. I mean, that's what we have to do. Like, that's why I'm presenting this information, because I don't really care. I've been written up in the Wall Street Journal. John Oliver did a skit about me. For the last 25 years, I've been attacked by the FDA, the AMA, the Chiropractic Association. I mean, you name it. I could care less. I'm in this because it gives me joy and satisfaction to teach people how to heal themselves, to teach people that they have all the necessary components to live a happy and healthy life. And that's what fuels me, honestly. It's not even money or anything like that. I mean, what fuels me, we give away like so much money to all these organizations to fight against GMO foods, to fight against toxins in the water, all this other stuff. So it's all really about you. It's about, just sharing what I know with the world. And this is about the simplest and the strongest thing I've ever found in my entire 25-year career. I used to think just a year ago that water-only fasting was the fastest way to regenerate your body. And I'm still a big believer in water-only fasting. I mean, not everybody needs it. I mean, that's why detoxification is so effective too, and that's why my whole career has been basically focused around detoxification, because when you understand the root cause of all diseases, all the chemicals and toxins, that you're exposed to in your external environment, your internal environment, then you understand that, well, how do you do that? You detox your external environment, you detox your internal environment, you cleanse out your system. And urotherapy is one of the most powerful ways to not only cleanse, but to repair, because it has such a high level of stem cells in it. So let's get to the questions. All right, first question, and this is one of the most popular questions I always get is, can I do urotherapy if I'm on pharmaceutical medications? Can I drink my own urine if I'm on medications? Now, I've reviewed many, many books, and most of the books out there on urotherapy will tell you, if you're on prescription medications, recreational drugs, mostly prescription medications and recreational drugs, alcohol, coffee, then it's not recommended. However, talking with individuals that have been practicing this for over 20 years, myself evaluating individuals that have been on it for over 20 something years, I personally would say that your body is the best manufacturer of what you need to heal yourself and to regulate your system every single day. Now, there's two different things that you can do. I'm not going to tell you one way or another that yes, I'll tell you what I would do, and I'm not and haven't been on any pharmaceuticals forever. But if it was me, I would do that. And what people have done in the past that are on multiple different types of pharmaceuticals is they just start very, very slow. So you would start with 3 drops of your first morning urine, midstream. So, pee out a little bit, catch midstream, and then start with 3 drops under your tongue, swish it around in your mouth a little bit and swallow it. And every 3 to 6 days, however you're feeling, you can increase that by 3 drops. I like to do everything in the combination of 3, 6, and 9, because that was Tesla's triangle, and that's the Fibonacci, and that's the energetic blueprint of the universe, is all based on combinations of 3, 6, and 9. So usually what I would do what I would do if I was on pharmaceuticals, I would never not want to start urotherapy. Number one, I would do that. I would start with 3 drops, then 6 drops, then 9 drops, and keep going up and up and up. And then I would also use it to massage into my skin. So there's lots of different uses for urotherapy. You can do foot baths if you're on pharmaceuticals. You can rub it into your skin, and you can start very slowly by putting it in your mouth and increasing that. Now, obviously, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to reduce your pharmaceuticals slowly, or at least notice what's happening, because you will only have micro amounts of the pharmaceuticals in your midstream. Like maybe you might have a little bit more in the first 2 or 3 seconds that you pee, but then the midstream, you're only going to have a minute amount of those in there. And usually, when you're talking about pharmaceuticals, the ones that are the most worrisome are going to be your opioids or your pain medications, because you might actually take too much. That's the caution behind it. It's like if you're on pain medications and you're drinking your own urine, you're going to be still taking your pain medications, and then you're going to be drinking your urine, which are going to have a lot of the opioid maybe components in there still, and you could overdose. I have never found a case, and if anyone knows of a case, please send it to me, because I've looked as hard as I possibly can, and I have yet to find a case of anybody that's had any issue doing urine therapy while they're on pharmaceuticals, especially if they start slow. Now, the whole goal is to get off pharmaceuticals. That's the whole goal. And when you're using your urine and you're drinking your own urine, also, it's very important for you to have a really good diet. You don't want to be drinking a lot of alcohol. You don't want to be eating a lot of dairy. You don't want to be eating a lot of meat. You want to have the more clean and more powerful your urine is a direct correlation to how clean and powerful your diet and your mental state is. Now, most of the time people are using urotherapy is they do have multiple conditions that they're suffering from. They do have multiple pharmaceuticals that they're using. And that's why it's best to just start off slow and start off slow and start off slow. So I'm not going to say that you shouldn't do it, because I believe that the body naturally knows exactly what to do, and it wouldn't put you in a bad situation, and it wouldn't poison you. And like I said, I haven't found a case that anyone who's actually been on pharmaceuticals that's done this to where they've had any, severe case happen. So address the root cause, number one, of why you're even on pharmaceuticals to begin with, which is your body's toxic, and you need to do some cleansing, and then just start off slow and use that method that I just talked about. All right, so the next question is, how much do I drink every single day? And this is, again, how well you can adapt to it, and how well you can, depending on how toxic you really are. Like I'm thinking of a case of a lady that we had where she had suffered from 10, 15 different types of symptoms and illnesses, everything from autoimmune disease to psoriasis to shingles to herpes to psychological issues. I mean, basically a lot of different things. And sometimes when you start off and you start drinking too much, then you can have a healing crisis happen. And when you have a healing crisis happen, one of the most common things that happens to people when they start drinking their own urine, if they start drinking it too much, is their skin. They'll have skin rashes or breakouts on their skin. And the reason why that is because your skin is your largest detoxification organ. And already, if you're sick and you have a bunch of symptoms and conditions, your detox is not working in your body. That means you're not eliminating properly through your bowel movements. Your liver is congested, probably only working 10 to 15%. And your kidneys might not be functioning, that well. And you're definitely not sweating enough to push all those chemicals and toxins out of your body. So when people say, how much do I drink per day? Like for me, when I started, I usually just go all in. Like I started drinking pretty much all that I produce every single day. Like within the first week, I was up to a half a gallon a day. And I was drinking a half a gallon a day. And you should always not only drink it, but you should always massage it into your skin, massage it into your face, use it as a shampoo. I mean, it is a versatile medicine that can be used in multiple different ways. You can do enemas with it. I'll talk about some of that stuff later, but many, many different ways. If you want to figure out more about that, again, go take the course at Global Healing Institute. But there is no limit to the amount that you can drink per day. There really isn't. So, start off small, you will know, your body will tell you, listen to your body, and, start with your first morning urine, because that's always the most powerful. First morning is considered after 3 a.m., usually between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. And then start, do that for a while. And then after you build yourself up, then you can start, with your moving into drinking as much urine as you can throughout the day. All right. So the next question, what should my urine taste like? And how do I improve the taste? Your urine is actually going to taste exactly how your diet is, to a certain degree. If your urine is pungent, because it's a sign, when you drink your urine, I noticed this after about 2 weeks. You get so attuned to your diet that you can literally start tasting foods you ate 24 hours ago in your urine that were bad for you. Like I went out to a restaurant and had a cooked meal. Normally I try to eat as much live food as I possibly can. And that's really what you want to do. Like you'll love to start eating more fruits. Like I try to eat a lot of fruit, and probably 80% of my diet is fruit. And I would say 10% is salads, vegetables, stuff like that, nuts and seeds, raw nuts and seeds, eating a lot of raw nuts and seeds. And then I do have some cooked food, maybe a little, 5% of my diet is cooked food. Every now and then I'll have some dairy. I'm not a complete vegan. I mean, most of the time I'm vegan, but I'll have some dairy from time to time. And I definitely notice a difference. I do not eat gluten, but I mean, every now and then I might get some gluten in some food or something like that. So I can definitely notice a difference in taste whenever I consume gluten, whenever I consume dairy. I haven't eaten meat in over 18 years. So I couldn't tell you, but from all the research, if you do eat meat, then you will definitely notice a taste, kind of a pungent taste in your urine. A lot of that is because we're so congested that and most people really have a hard time digesting their food. Now that will all improve. I'm not telling you, it would be good for you to slow down and start, eliminating dairy and eliminating meat from your diet and all that, but it's not a necessity. Okay. Like you can do this no matter what you're doing right now. Okay. It's one of the things that you can do without having to give up anything in your life. Sugar is another thing. You definitely notice a difference if you eat. Like I ate at a restaurant. I was doing a conference not too long ago, and I just didn't have a lot of choices, so I had to eat out. And I could tell restaurants use a massive amount of salt in whatever they're producing and cooking. So you will notice a change in the taste of salt whenever you eat out at a restaurant, and or if you have too much salt in your foods or you're consuming too much salt. So your urine in a perfect state should taste floral. Like it should almost have no taste to it at all. And when you get to the point where you keep recycling it through your body, and as it cleanses you and cleanses you and cleanses you, for me, it was probably around the 3-week mark, but I was also kind of doing nothing but drinking distilled water, and I was eating just fruits and kind of doing a little fast in there. I noticed that probably within 3 weeks, it was a very addictive kind of a taste. And that's what you want. Okay. Because your body, you will know when your body starts to become clean, because your urine won't have any pungent taste to it. It'll be a very clear with a slight goldish light. I mean, I call it a light because it's like a hue to it. But however, depending on how toxic you are, depending on what you're putting in your system, your urine might taste pungent. It might be a dark yellow. It might be thick. It might be really salty. It might taste like if you're eating radishes or asparagus, you might be able to taste that in there. Like you'll literally be able to taste what you're putting in your system. So that's your body telling you. That's your body telling you that you need to clean up. And that's your body telling you that you need to start eating more healthy and cleansing your system out a little bit more. So the next question is, how do I improve the taste? And so during the initial, I like to say the initial 90 days, because this is kind of how it works. For the first 90 days, you're going to be getting used to it. You're going to be adapting to it. You're going to be cleansing and detoxifying. For the first 90 days is the detoxification phase. The next 90 days after that is like a recovery phase where your body's going to be choosing different things to kind of help repair and heal and balance. And then the next 90 days plus after that is going to be your regeneration phase. That's 90, it could take a year, 2 years, whatever. However, the first 90 days is when you're going to be noticing a lot of different colors and changes in thickness, viscosity, taste, all of that. But you just don't worry about it. It gives you a signal to make sure that you're eating healthier and to put more fruit into your system, maybe drink a little bit more distilled water as well. Now, if you're really having a hard time getting over that psychological, how do I improve the taste? Or it's just, we've been led to believe that urine is a waste product and it's toxic and all this garbage. Well, you can actually mix it in your smoothie. You can mix it in some fresh squeezed, put a little lemon juice in there, fresh squeezed watermelon juice, fresh squeezed orange juice. You can even put it in your green juice if you want. So, I mean, you can mix your urine and it's not going to decrease the efficacy of it. There was another question about pharmaceuticals. Can I drink somebody else's urine if I'm on pharmaceuticals? And yes, you can actually. That's another thing that you can do if you are on pharmaceuticals, is you can use a surrogate. You can use another person that's not on pharmaceuticals. It's actually completely safe to drink another person's urine. You just make sure that that person is clean. I mean, there might even be urine surrogates here in the future actually selling their urine, because they're so clean and because it's so powerful as a healing agent. But you can do that. And actually it's kind of in the books and the research, it's the younger the person is, the more pure their urine is. So for example, people with Alzheimer's, dementia, in the ancient days, like thousands of years ago, they would use the urine from a prepubescent male. That means a male that has not gone through puberty yet. They would have anyone suffering from mental illness or Parkinson's or dementia or Alzheimer's or anything like that, they would drink the urine of a prepubescent male, and that would actually reverse the condition. One of the great things about urine is it actually will start bringing everything back into balance, and it's great for the brain as well. So you can improve the taste by just mixing it in with something, or better yet, eating and changing your diet to where you're eating cleaner food. That's the best way to improve the taste of it. All right, so the next question that I have is, can you use urotherapy while you're on nutritional supplements? Like, can you take supplements while you're using urotherapy? And the answer is yes. You can use urotherapy with anything. There's really no contraindications to anything, really. The prescription meds would probably be the one you want to watch the most, but yes, you can do that. And it's good to do that. You want to take your supplements. You can even do it while you're detoxifying. So let's say you're going through an intestinal cleanse and you're doing a little bit of urotherapy with it. That's great. It's what urotherapy is going to do is it's going to magnify your results by 100 times. And the cleaner you eat, the more powerful your urine is going to be as a healing agent. So you can go through an intestinal cleanse, you can go through a liver and gallbladder cleanse. I would even say it's even better to add that while you're cleansing, because you can do urine enemas to help purge the liver, while you can actually mix it in with coffee as well. So you can do a half and half coffee urine enema to help purge the liver if you're going through a liver and gallbladder cleanse. And then when you're doing a parasite cleanse or a harmful organism cleanse, it's great to add in there because urine is a natural antimicrobial. When you're doing a chemical and heavy metal cleanse, you can add it in with that because it will help bond to some of those chemicals and those heavy metals and bring them out of the system. So it's actually, no matter what type of healing modality you're using, if you're doing chiropractic, you're doing massage therapy, you're doing far infrared, you're doing pulse electromagnetic frequencies, you're doing lasers, you're doing ozone, you're doing vitamin C drips. It doesn't matter, whatever you're doing, just times it by 100 if you're doing urotherapy with it. Okay. Okay, can I give urine to my pets? This is probably one of the most common questions I get is about pet use. So the first thing I want to say is the reason why pets are unhealthy to begin with is because they're not getting enough exercise and they're eating the wrong foods, and people are feeding them people food all day long. I mean, that's the elephant in the room. First off, you should really evaluate what you're feeding your pets. The second thing is, yes, you can use urotherapy with your pets. Pets instinctively know to drink their own urine, especially in the deserts and with the giraffes and animals that don't really have a lot of water. A lot of times, you can see pictures and videos of giraffes leaning down and drinking their own urine, and even dogs will go smell and lick other dogs' urine, and so that can be done. So first is addressing why you would want to give urine to your pets without addressing some of the other issues with food. But yes, what you could do is just put a little bit in your, you can put a couple drops in your pet's food. If they like it, they'll eat it. If not, they won't. I would say that it would be really good for you to be in good health to do that. Or if you have a son or a daughter or somebody young in the family, it'd be best to use their urine. But you can absolutely give urine to pets. And even if pets get injured, you can rub it into their fur too. It's actually extremely effective for skin conditions. That's going to be more of your aged, or as Brother Sage likes to call it, your evolved urine. But we could talk about that later. But in short, yes, if your pets will consume it, then that probably means that they feel the energy of it, because urine is alive. It's alive. It's got massive amounts of stem cells in it. It's got a high vibrational energy to it. It's like an ormus. It's got ormus salts in it. If you read the ancient alchemical texts on the philosophers, the texts on the Philosopher's Stone, the secret actually to the Philosopher's Stone was the ormus salts that were processed through urine, through the alchemist himself or herself. Okay, next question. Does stress or high cortisol impact your urine? Stress, anxiety, depression, any type of negative emotional states will always impact your body in a negative way. And so that will, how does that affect the urine? It actually doesn't really affect the urine that much. As a matter of fact, usually what will happen is if you're under a high state of stress, the urine will balance out what you need. I've had scenarios where I've been under really high levels of stress. I've been under, had high level of anxiety from time. Most of the time I don't, because I meditate, but I mean, I've been really paying attention to what's been going on with me over the last 6 months. And there's been at least 3 times where I've had a state where there's something happened with somebody, or it's just, these things come up every single day. So what happened was I was in this high state of anxiety and stress. And all of a sudden I went in, I drank my urine, and within like a minute to 2 minutes, I was completely calm. This is one of the best remedies for depression, for anxiety, for stress. So everybody's biochemistry is different. So we don't know. I mean, there's over 3,000 compounds in your urine. Okay. Think about that. If you go to Whole Foods and you look at they don't even have 3,000 supplements in the store, maybe 2,000, maybe around 3,000. Can you imagine if you bought one of every single supplement in the aisle and then came home and tried to take that on a daily basis? Not to mention how much that would cost you. I wonder how much that would cost you to buy one of each thing, each supplement at Whole Foods. It probably cost you 15 grand, something like that. You're literally peeing that out every single day, but it's in the perfect ratio that your body needs to heal itself. So let's say you might be low on testosterone. You might be low on DHEA that day. You might have produced a lot of cortisol because your stress levels were really high. You might need, something to calm you down. You might need more melatonin. You might need more serotonin. You might need more dopamine in your system. So that is how effective it is, because your body, the inside of your body knows and produces antibodies and produces these things almost instantaneously That's why if people, the people that got bit by cobras and black mambas in India, they would drink their own urine, and within 15 seconds after they were bitten by the most poisonous snakes, their body would develop an antibody, and they would just keep drinking their own urine. And it would completely neutralize the venom. I mean, think about that. That's crazy to think that you can get bit by a cobra, and if your body's going to produce the anti-venom and the antibodies within 15 seconds. And as long as you keep put a pack over the bite, and a urine pack over the bite, and you drink it, that your body's you're going to survive. So they don't have hospitals like on corners and when people are in the jungles and everywhere around the world. So a lot of times that's what they do. All right, so next question is, how do you get over the psychological aversion, the social aspect of it, the brainwashing, the conditioning? That's a pretty good question right there. I do have that question come up a lot. I mean, you become a free thinker. I mean, you know what? The psychological aversion is only because you've been brainwashed and you've been conditioned to think that urine is bad for you, that it's a toxic waste product, and it's not. Now, for the social aspect of it, I mean, that's a little bit harder. I mean, most people, what I recommend initially is don't tell everybody what you're doing. I mean, it's like, I don't care, but I mean, this has come up to me multiple times in the last month of people letting me know, you know what, I started drinking my own urine, and in 2 weeks, I was feeling so much better. Like, it is literally changing my life. So I decided to tell my husband, or I decided to tell my mom about it. And so what happened was they told their husband, or they told their mom, or they told their best friend. And then of course it's, oh my gosh, you're crazy. What are you doing? Who are you following? Where are you getting this information from? Blah, blah, blah. And the next thing you know, that they're the crazy black sheep person in the family or whatever. And so it's, it just depends on your situation. It depends on who your friends are, who your family members are, who you're hanging out with in society. I mean, I wouldn't probably go like me, who's just broadcasting it everywhere. But, if you're worried about what people think about you, and if you're worried about what people say about you, and if you're worried that they might judge you, then I would just keep it to yourself. I mean, no one needs to know. I mean, you're in the bathroom, you're drinking your own urine in there, you're massaging it on your skin. It won't smell when you massage it on your skin. It won't smell when you drink your first morning urine. So, but it can be stressful. I mean, it can be stressful. I mean, people get so excited about it because they feel they're changing their body. You can feel it. Like, you can literally feel your body changing, that you just get so excited, especially people that have suffered from so many health conditions for so many years, and nothing has worked. And they've been to like 20 different doctors, and the doctors have been giving them this and giving them that, and just like nothing works. And then all of a sudden in 2 weeks, like half their symptoms have gone. Like, they get so excited. They have so much energy. They're sleeping again. There's so many like positive changes that are happening. It's like, it does make you want to go talk about it to the world. It does make you want to share this information. It's just that, there's a lot of people that are just not open to it yet. So you just have to, give people the information. That's kind of my philosophy, is education. I'm really big on education, and just like, share little pieces at a time, And listen, we have a whole website. I knew I was going to be attacked for this. I'm already getting attacked for this. That's why I said, look, you don't have to believe me. Go do your own research. We have UROTHERAPYresearch.com, UROTHERAPYresearch.com. And we're constantly adding more and more stuff. We still have a bunch of stuff to add to that website. We're adding a bunch of frequently asked questions and answers on there. I mean, it's a brand new website. It's a community-based website. Like, send us in your experiences, whatever. Like, we're trying to build this community of research, like medical research. Actually, this is one of the best books that I always recommend to everybody. That and I mean, equally books. I really love this book right here by Brother Sage too. This is a manual for urine therapy. for teachers and therapists, but it's actually, you can buy that on Amazon. We've got so many books, and we've got a lot of the PDFs on the urotherapyresearch.com for free. Just go over there and download them. But I mean, all the questions that you really want answered are in those, but we're trying to condense everything, and we're trying to get new information out there well by working with a lot of these practitioners and getting more information as it comes in. And then I personally have been working with a lot of people that are going through this, and I'm trying to it's just about gathering data and sharing that data. Okay. Next question. Why is the first morning urine the most effective, and what is the most potent time frame? So the first morning urine is the most effective because at night when you're sleeping, hopefully you are sleeping, it's when the body is at rest. It's when the body goes into its healing mode. It's when the body starts pushing out chemicals, toxins, detoxes, but it also starts repairing. You start producing a lot of stem cells. And your body knows, because it has time, you're not eating throughout the night. So during the day, your body mostly, like 90% of the energy your body produces goes to digestion. And so really your body, it has a hard time focusing on healing during the days because you're eating. And so your body's focusing on digestion. However, at night is when your body can relax and your body can heal, and it can produce and analyze what you're missing, what you're not missing from the food that you ate during that day or not. And it can actually, that's when the chemistry, the laboratory is at work. That's when your body's laboratory is really at work while you're sleeping. And so that first morning medicine that comes out is the most potent. It's the most concentrated. It has the broadest spectrum of nutrients, hormones, amino acids, phytonutrients, everything that you need to perfectly balance your day when you start by drinking it. So that's why the morning is the most effective time frame. And like I said earlier, you consider the first morning urine between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. If you wake up at 5, the first time you pee, like some people go to the bathroom at night multiple times, and that's fine. You can do that. Hopefully you're not going to the bathroom multiple times during the night. But anyway, between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. is going to be the best time for that. All right. Next question. Will I smell like urine? And do I wash it off? So you will not smell like urine. And the reason why is because you're drinking it and it's going into your system, and it's not really it's going to be processed inside your body. So it's not going to release a smell. As a matter of fact, the interesting fact about that is you actually will start secreting pheromones. So you will be very attractive to the opposite sex. That's why a lot of the pheromone-based colognes and perfumes actually have urea in it. And in the ancient days, when people were mating or looking for mates, they would drink their own urine, and you would produce these pheromones from your skin. It's this smell that comes out. And it's a very floral type smell. You can't even really smell it, but it goes into the olfactory system, and you actually will start attracting men or attracting females to you if you start doing this, because it starts regulating everything in the system. And you will not smell like urine. And when you put it on your skin and you massage it into your skin, remember that your skin absorbs things. So your skin will absorb it. And I'm talking about fresh urine. I'm talking about urine that is used within 15 minutes of the time that you collect it. Okay. Now, if you used a aged urine, or a urine that is, people have kept their urine for 9 years, more than that sometimes. I mean, I'll wait to answer that question later about aged urine, but the question was, will I smell like urine? No, you won't. If you put it in your hair, for example, a lot of people like to put it in their hair because it helps your hair grow back. It helps change the color of your hair. It makes your hair just super soft, fluffy. It's amazing for your hair. You can leave it in your hair for anywhere between 18 to 24 hours and it won't smell. After that, you can start smelling a little bit in your hair. So the rule of thumb with that is to just like, if you take a shower in the morning, then put the urine, massage the urine into your scalp and hair, let it dry naturally. And then the next morning, when you go take a shower again, you can rinse it off. But you don't need, if you're, like I said, if you're using aged urine, that's going to have more of a potent smell depending on how long it's aged, but then you can, that you might want to wash off as well. But once you start cleaning your system out, your urine, the smell of your urine starts going away and going away and going away. So the next question is, do you have a list of professionals who can administer the urine injections? I've tried to search online, but not find anything. So Tori's asking about urine injections. Urine injections is another way to actually use urine therapy. And how it's done is you collect in a sterile Pyrex, a very clean glass container. You collect your midstream morning urine, and then you take a needle, like a 1.5 inch needle, maybe like a 3 cc syringe, and you suck up anywhere from 0.5 cc to 1 cc to 2 cc's. I don't usually go over about 2.5 cc's. I've done probably 3 or 4 or 5 urine injections myself over the last 100 or so days. I usually just take it up to about 2.5 cc's, and you inject it into your gluteal muscle. Now, I personally don't have a list, but I will be working with Brother Sage on that. Brother Sage has on his website, the JAISHIVAMBU website that he does have a list of practitioners on there. And you know what I'll do is I'll probably put it in the description below the video, so you can go and look on that site as well. So that's about urine injections. And just real fast on urine injections. So urine injections, I mean, you don't really need urine injections. Usually the urine injections are given to people that are in an acute state. Like, let's say somebody might be going through anaphylactic shock, or they might be like Dr. Hitt. Dr. Hitt was a famous urotherapy practitioner down in Mexico. We knew him 20 something years ago, and he was treating all different types of disease conditions, and he would always do urine injections, about 2 cc's of urine into the gluteal muscle. And with that being said, the general research that's been out there is to never inject urine directly into the veins, never do an IV of urine therapy. However, I will say this, I have been working with a naturopath, a naturopathic medical doctor in Arizona, and she has been experimenting with doing urine, mixing urine and saline, or just doing urine directly into the veins with a butterfly. And she has been gathering evidence that is mind-boggling of what can be done. There was just real fast, she was telling me about a patient with severe migraine headaches, severe allergic reactions, all kinds of stuff, severe fibromyalgia. And she did a 0.5 cc injection into the blood and right into the vein of the hand here. And within, I would say, minutes, the migraine headache was completely gone. All the fibromyalgia pain was completely gone. That was about a week ago. I need to follow up with her and see if that's still the case. But anyway, according to all the research, it should never be injected directly into the vein. However, we know we're constantly progressing and innovating. That's the thing about what we all should do. We should all become more educated. We should all become more spiritual. We should all become more conscious. We should all try to, figure out better new solutions to things. All right, so next question. If urine is the waste leaving the body, shouldn't we have concern for reuptake of waste or toxins that the body is expelling? First of all, urine is not waste leaving the body, okay? That's what we've been led to believe. Urine is the purified distillation of the blood plasma. However, any type of waste, let's say, or toxins or metals, most of all that stuff that you're going to find by doing a urinalysis, those are all conjugated already. Most of them are already broken down. So they're not going to, even if you were to put those back into your body would keep those in the intestinal lining, so they would go out and you would defecate them back out again. So as you recycle and recycle and recycle, those would get less and less. So you're going to be pulling those out. You're going to be conjugating those. And I would rename them. I wouldn't even name them as waste and toxins. I would just say particles of what used to be toxins or waste, nanoparticles of some of those metals or something, but they're already bound. They're not going to harm you if you put them back in your system. All right, how do you get rid of all excess filtered heavy metals then? Well, you just do the same thing. I mean, as you continue to put your urine back in your system, remember that those metals are not in the state that they were when they were inorganically consumed the first time from the food that you're eating, the beverages that you're drinking, the air that you're breathing, all of that. Okay, they're in a different form. They're in an inorganic form. Once they're in your body, then they get broken down or they get stored. And so when you're doing the urine therapy and you're pulling those back out, that's another reason why you don't collect the first 3 or 4 or 5 seconds. I'd say 3 seconds. So that's why you collect your midstream, because most of those are going to be pushed out in the first 2 or 3 seconds because they're heavy. Gravity's going to pull them down. So that's why the midstream, you collect your midstream. Ultimately, a lot of urotherapy practitioners and people that have been doing it for quite some time, after the first 90 days especially, and eating a very, very healthy diet, they'll just, you don't need to collect your first morning anymore. They say that every drop is precious. Every drop is precious. Don't waste a drop. And so that means that what they'll do is they'll save it, and then they'll age the urine for urine baths, urine enemas, for skin, stuff like that. But basically, urine is so valuable and so effective that once you get to a certain point down the line, you will want to collect all of it, and you will feel bad when any of it is wasted or any of it, goes down the toilet. I actually felt guilty. I was in the airport and I didn't have a cup, and I had to go and I had to pee, and it's like watching all of that perfect medicine, that beautiful stuff come out, and not being able to collect it or drink it. It was just a weird experience, but it's hard to explain. All right. Next question. Speaking about the propaganda, why is Google so accurate for most things and not other things? It does admit about pee in a baby's amniotic sac. I personally, I don't trust Google for anything. 6 years ago, they took all the natural medicine sites down and they replaced them all with medical-based sites. Google is nothing more than a propaganda machine. Wikipedia, half the stuff they say on there is false anyway. All these fact checkers, you have to be your own fact checker. You have to, don't believe what Google says. Don't believe what's on. Just look at what's happening with the censorship right now, okay? If anything is censored, most likely that's the truth, okay? If there's something that's being censored or something or someone who's being bashed for something, most likely that means they're telling the truth. And the people that are censoring them, or the people that are putting the information out on Google to try to counteract them, that's where the lies are. The mainstream media is where all the lies and deception is, okay? I'm not going to get into that whole story with the CIA involvement and the propaganda machines and all of everything that's been happening over the years to try to deceive people, to take away their spirituality, to calcify their pineal glands, to school the children, the school systems, how those are all specifically designed to make people worker bees and not think for themselves, and not, be that angelic being that we all are, that soul that we all are, that we're here to try to go within to find out who we really are. The kingdom of heaven is within, it's not outside. So, Google is not the most accurate place to get your information. Right now, the most accurate place to get your information is going to be through alternative media sources, Telegram, BitChute, Brighteon, Rumble, any type of alternative media platform doesn't really matter. And for information when it comes to your health, just seek out all the natural healers that are out there. There's plenty. Become your own natural healer. I mean, I have a whole system of courses at the Global Healing Institute. That's exactly what we're trying to do. Teach you how to become your own healer. A lot of this information that I'm talking about right now has been burned. Like the medical profession has burned, and it's a very, very, very high level propaganda campaign to suppress this information from you. What you're getting is from me, and you getting from all these other natural health care practitioners out there, is you're getting like the truth. You're getting like the stuff that has been censored. You're getting the stuff that you can use right now to completely change your life for free. All right. So don't go try to get your stuff on Google. I mean, don't, use, I mean, most people don't even know this, but DuckDuckGo is actually owned by Google. I mean, just try to find other alternative sources. And I mean, it's a lot better than Google, by the way. I mean, you can actually find some stuff on DuckDuckGo, but you just have to look at other places. All right. If urine is an antibiotic, please explain why people get urinary tract infections. So what happens when you get a urinary tract infection is you end up having bacteria that grows in the urethra, in the bladder, and what happens is the antibodies are produced in your urine to heal you with a bladder infection, but you end up peeing them out. That's the thing. See, like even with you get exposed to a virus or you get exposed to a bacteria and you get sick, urine will not keep you from getting infections. It won't keep you from getting sick. Urine, the power of urine is that it will develop an anti-venom, an antibiotic, an antibody for you to then use against what is infecting you to begin with. So that's why in India, at the clinics in India, the thing that they use that gives them the best success for severe kidney infections is urine therapy. So it doesn't necessarily prevent you from getting an infection, but the antibodies that you need to counteract that infection are in your urine, in the urotherapy. I was totally blown away actually by this. I mean, this is something that I had to really open my mind to, because they were having people drink their own urine with severe kidney infections when they had, I mean, to the point where there was blood and there was pus in the urine itself. Now, if I wouldn't have studied that, I would have said, my gosh, I would have never recommended anybody drinking their own urine with a severe kidney infection. I mean, why would that? Just doesn't make sense, right? Like you're going to be feeding somebody a bunch of blood and pus and all that stuff in their urine, even though people drink milk with blood and pus in it from cows. They think that, I mean, like I would never drink milk with pus and urine in it from cows, and they think drinking urine is bad. But what it is the urine contains all the antibodies to fight off the bacteria and the urinary tract infections. And that's what, and within 48 hours, most people that have a urinary tract infection or a UTI, within 48 hours of drinking their own urine, as it goes back into their body and cycles through with the antibodies, their UTI is completely cleared. And drinking it on a regular basis, very rarely have I don't even think I've only been extensively studying this for 11 months. Okay. I've done it. I've used it. I've talked to people for 25 years, but like really fully, extensively studying it and doing it, studying it for 11 months, but doing it for over 100 days now. I have not met anybody yet, maybe they're out there, that hasn't been able to eradicate a UTI with urotherapy within, 72 hours, no matter how bad it actually is. So that's why. I mean, it's, urine is an antibiotic. It's an antiviral, but you have to be exposed to the bacteria or the virus or whatever first, and then your body produces the antibodies, and that's what it. And then you have to put it back in you. You can't just pee it out. You have to put it back in you. A good question, though. That's a really good question. All right, next question is, how is it a form of detoxification? You say urine, pooping, sweat, period, etc., are detoxification of toxins. So you know what? For years, I was saying that you have 4 elimination routes, okay? And I said actually there's 5 elimination routes. I said you're going to pee out toxins, you're going to poo out toxins, you're going to sweat out toxins, you're going to breathe out toxins. A lot of people don't know, but you do breathe out a lot of toxins. That's why it's horrible to put a mask on you. And women have their menstrual cycles. What I've learned in the last 10 months, I've learned that urine is an elimination route, but I've learned that it's not a toxic elimination route, that there's only a small amount in the first morning urine usually. That's why you collect your midstream that comes out. But most of your toxins that you're eliminating, and especially what happens when you start getting on urine therapy, you start noticing your skin. That's why it's really good to sweat if you're doing this, because especially if you're really, really toxic, so you can start detoxifying those chemicals from your body. We're back up and running. So thanks for hanging in there, everybody. I appreciate it. So let's get to the next question down here. Is it better to use distilled water? And if so, do you add minerals into the distilled water? So this is something that a very controversial topic that I've been dealing with for close to 20 something years. I've always been recommending people drink distilled water. However, I've recommended from time to time to put a little bit of organic apple cider vinegar in there, or maybe a little bit of lemon juice in there. But the more research that I've done, especially over the last 11 months, is that I'm a firm 100% believer in just only drinking distilled water. And the reason for that is distilled water is the only form of water that's produced in nature, okay? Through fog, through rain, distilled water is in your fruits, distilled water is in your vegetables. And in the ancient days, people would collect, that's how they would collect their water. They would collect rainwater. They would have these big fog nets, and the fog would come through and get on the nets and then run down, and stacks of rocks that would naturally create a dew in a distilled water. So you're probably asking the question right now, like I was deceived all these years, and I was given false information, hey, distilled water is bad for you. Distilled water is going to leach all the minerals out of your system. Not true at all. There is some truth to that, actually. Distilled water will leach the inorganic minerals out of your body, but not the organic minerals out of your body. The amount of chemicals and toxins and inorganic compounds that we are consuming on a daily basis, you could drink distilled water all day long and still probably not even touch bringing them out of your system. So the big thing here is organic minerals versus inorganic minerals. This is why people are literally turning to stone, okay? Look at anyone over 50 or 60, they start hunching over. All this calcification that's going on inside the system. The reason why you're accumulating all that calcification in your system is because you're not taking it out of your system, and you're drinking water, it has a bunch of more minerals in it. San Pellegrinos, they say, oh, we have this amount of total dissolved solids in the water. You're putting more of those inorganic minerals in your system. So that's why I recommend only drinking distilled water, because distilled water is going to leach all that calcification out of your body slowly. It's going to leach all those minerals, those inorganic minerals out of your body. And I mean, it's not bad to drink, some really good, powerful spring water or something that comes from the earth if you can get it every now and then. But I mean, it's the 90-10 rule. Like 90% of the time you should drink distilled water. And you know what, I think I'm going to do a mini course on that too, because I've got all kinds of research and all kinds of evidence on that. Instead of just telling, people, hey, drink distilled water, it's like telling people to drink their urine. Your urine is basically distilled water. So anything that God creates is distilled water. So that is used actually as a detoxifier. That's distilled water will really, really help you detoxify your body. I recommend drinking at least a half a gallon of distilled water every single day. And if you are doing urotherapy, just drink distilled water and then do the urotherapy as well. Okay, next question is from an Ayurvedic practitioner. She said that in India, they use cow urine enemas with great success on women with rheumatoid arthritis. Could I speak about the benefits and disadvantages of using cow's urine rather than human urine? So the first thing I would say about that is we're in two different places. In India, cows are really revered and, as holy creatures. And here in the United States, I would never use cow urine because the way the cows are treated, they're abused, the way that they're injected with all kinds of antibiotics, they're injected with vaccines. They're just, it's horrible. Personally, I would never use any cow urine. Now, over in India, it has been a very successful method. As a matter of fact, they even drink cow's urine in India. So for just general use, I would say that you can do the same thing with doing your own urine, especially if you were to rub a aged urine. Let's say you age your urine for 3 months. And I'll just say, okay, age urine, collect your urine. Urine should always be stored in glass. It should be stored in gold or silver containers or bone, something natural, bamboo. But if you want to store your own urine, you can take a mason jar and just fill it up and then put some cheesecloth over the top of it. And then put a rubber band around it and then let it sit in a window somewhere where it can get some sun. It's called solarizing. It's putting that energy into it. And after about 3 months, you can probably, the minimum time that I would age urine or evolve urine would be 9 days. 9 days would probably be the minimum. After 9 days, that would be considered evolved urine or aged urine. And then I would say that you could use that to rub into, it might be more effective rubbing into the skin. You might want to mix a drop of DMSO in there with that too, to help it absorb more into the joint tissue. But over time, by drinking it, by massaging it, even if it's fresh, all of those conditions should start to go away. If you look at all of the different diseases, all of the different conditions out there, as long as you start changing your diet and eating healthy and exercising and really emotionally loving it, because you want to hold your urine too and put good, positive thoughts into it, love and energy and, healing. You don't want to be drinking your urine and be going, oh, this is gross and, all this other stuff, because you're creating a level of resistance there. You want to hold this in and be like, this is powerful. This is my medicine that God is creating for me. Like this is going to heal me. This is going to detoxify me. This is going to help me. So over a period of time, your urine will start to reduce the symptoms of arthritis and pain and inflammation. One of the fastest things urine works on is pain and inflammation. Like I tweaked my back not too long ago and immediately went and peed and rubbed and massaged urine into where my back pain was, and it was gone. It was completely gone within a minute, and it never came back. One application. I sprained my ankle really bad, maybe even broke it. I don't know. I never go to the hospital and get x-rays or anything like that because I don't want to put myself in that environment. But my ankle swelled up this big. I was playing tennis and came down and landed on it. My whole ankle flipped over to the side. It was a pretty gruesome, event that happened. And I went back to the hotel immediately. I rode my bike back to the hotel and I immediately drank my urine. And then the only thing I had was like a laundry bag that was at the hotel. There was like one of these plastic laundry bags that was in the closet. And I was like, I don't have anything else. I'm just going to get that. And I just collected my urine and poured it in the bag and then soaked my put my leg up on a pillow to where, the urine was laying on the side of the bag and just soaked my ankle in there. And the pain went away. I mean, the ankle was still swollen, but the swelling just kept going down. I kept soaking it for like 3 or 4 days, drinking it. And I was literally walking on my ankle in 4 days. It took about 2 weeks before I could, get full range of motion. All the swelling was completely down, but that was probably a 6 to 12 week injury. I would have been on crutches. I would have been in a wheelchair. If I would have went to the doctor, who knows what would have happened. I would have probably been in a cast for 2 or 3 months. I've had complete range of motion back in my ankle, no pain, no nothing in there. So, I mean, I've had, a lot of things that have happened to me. So arthritis, personally, I think that there's parasites associated with rheumatoid arthritis. Every single rheumatoid arthritis case I did my internship in rheumatology, actually, with Dr. Litsky, one of the world's top rheumatologists at the VA hospital. That's where I did my internship. And so I have a good understanding of arthritis and different types of rheumatological disorders. And, of course, they don't teach you that in medical school or anything like that. But I mean, from talking to all the natural doctors and everybody over the last 25 years, rheumatoid arthritis is a bacteria. It's a pleomorphic organism that changes from bacteria to fungus to different types of and what they secrete in the joint is chemicals and toxins like formaldehyde, phenol, isopropyl alcohol, and different types of toxins when they go to the bathroom. So that's when you address killing off those harmful organisms. It's like, what is the root cause of rheumatoid arthritis? The root cause is toxicity and harmful organisms. And the urine will help clean those out. So I know that in India, they still do that and they practice the cow's urine. Personally, I would not do that. I mean, I think that your own urine is just as effective. I would just do that. All right. Speaking of arthritis, here's the next question. I noticed that osteoporosis didn't get a mention on your list of conditions that benefit from urotherapy. Do you have anything to say about bones, growth, rejuvenation? I mean, urotherapy is the best thing in the world because it has stem cells it has stem cells for every single organ that is suffering, that needs regeneration. Your body will produce stem cells. They'll come out through your urine. So it works amazing. Now, for regeneration, rejuvenation, bones, osteoporosis, most likely you have osteoporosis because you've been consuming milk and all these other chemicals and toxins that are leaching calcium from the bone. The bad forms of calcium are calcium carbonate, calcium oxalates. I mean, the calciums that are not properly broken down. I mean, I hate to say this, but the majority of nutritional supplements actually have, bad forms. Anything you get at the drugstore, I'm not the better forms, they like the chelated forms, but most people still take like Centrum vitamins they get from these drugstores and these grocery stores and all these crappy minerals, and then they're drinking tap water. If you eat out at a restaurant at all, you are consuming bad inorganic minerals that are in the water and in all the stuff they're using to wash everything and to cook with. So it's impossible to avoid all these things. So the secret is just detoxifying and drinking distilled water, because that's going to pull all these things out of your system. Making sure that you do intestinal cleansing every so often. Make sure that you're doing liver and gallbladder cleansing so often. You don't stop really doing all the things that you're doing for your health just because you're implementing urotherapy. It's just going to take it, like I said, it's going to 100x it. It's going to take it to the next level. I mean, would you even need to take vitamins and supplements if you're doing urotherapy and you're eating healthy? Probably not. You could probably just do nothing but urotherapy and do nothing but distilled water if you were on a fruitarian diet, eating fruits and nuts and raw nuts and seeds and vegetables and green juices and superfoods and stuff like that. 99%, 99.99% of the population is not doing that. About 99% of the population doesn't want to change their lifestyle. You know, this is something you can do regardless of whatever you're doing. It's just you're just going to add to the benefits of it. So yeah, it's great for bones. It's great for regrowth, great for rejuvenation. But remember what I was saying, like the first 90 days is going to be detox and cleansing. Second 90 days is going to be recovery, body adjusting. The third 90 days plus is when you're going to start hitting that rejuvenation, that regeneration. It's like water only fasting, where you have to go through a certain amount of days before your body kicks into that autophagy phase, that regeneration phase. Now, even better than water only fasting is urine only fasting, or you can do a combination of both, water only fasting and urine only fasting. Most of the people that do that are in really serious conditions, and they've been sent home, and it's just like a last resort. Do I think that does everybody need you? I personally do a distilled water and urine fast, semi-fast, at least one day a week. Like maybe I'll just eat fruit one day a week and I'll just do urine and water. That's really good to do, by the way. If you just take one day out of the week and just, let's say I'm just going to today for 24 hours, I'm just going to eat fruit, drink distilled water, and drink my urine. That's what Gandhi did. Gandhi fasted for 9 days once a year, and then he fasted 1 day a week on water only. And maybe there was some urine in there as well too. And a lot of that stuff has been taken out of the history books. Okay. So what if I constantly urinate every 1 to 3 hours? You mentioned in the course that the first morning urine is best, but my first urination is very minimal. That's okay. Just do as much as you can. Even if you urinate every 1 to 3 hours, fine. I mean, take a sip, take 2 sips, drink the whole thing. There's really no rules and regulations to this. It's just do them as much as you can. And I would say that another question that I have regarding that is, people say, well, if I'm usually when I pee, I'm having a bowel movement. Like if I go to the bathroom, I'm having a bowel movement and then I just pee, it just comes out. So what happens? Like, what do I do? Well, what you can do is you can keep a glass cup next to, or on top of your toilet. And then, while you're having your bowel movement, you can actually, either if you're a guy, you can like lean to one side and you can pee in the cup, or if you're a woman, you can just try to collect, your urine while you're having a bowel movement too. It's not, most of the time it's not going to be contaminated, hopefully, but you would want to, again, collect your first morning urine. That's another question that comes up quite often. And then, so this is another really good question that comes up. So a lot of people smoke weed or do recreational drugs. I'm just going to say recreational drugs, weed. The question is, people smoke weed and drink coffee. Can we hear from you on this topic of how that affects urotherapy? I would add in there recreational drugs as well. I know a lot of people that do cannabis for medicinal purposes. I personally love the hemp extract, the CBD, all of the full spectrum of the hemp plant when it comes to healing and activating the endocannabinoid system. So you can still do it. Okay. You could still do it. And coffee, just try to limit your coffee intake. And when you do drink coffee, make sure that you drink organic coffee, mold-free coffee, fungus-free coffee. See, coffee, 90% of the world's coffee is heavily sprayed with pesticides and insecticides. If you're going to drink coffee, don't go to the main coffee places that are out there and get coffee. Make your own coffee with distilled water, certified organic coffee beans, and then you can do that. And it's not going to really affect you that much. So you can still do what you want to do. When it comes to recreational drugs, I mean, if you're doing anything like that, just don't skip a day. Just skip a day and don't, ultimately you want to get off of all that stuff. But the question comes up and arises a lot with people doing spiritual ceremonies. Like I had people asking me not too long ago, a couple of days ago, actually, about like doing ayahuasca or San Pedro or any type of psychedelics, mushrooms, stuff like that. How does that affect urotherapy? Well, in the ancient, well, I shouldn't say ancient days, but I mean, in the days of the shamanism and things like that, what they would do was they would have a surrogate that would eat the mushrooms or that would eat the cactus or whatever that psychedelic was. And actually, so they would have another person do that, so they wouldn't have to go through the whole harsh detoxification and throwing up and all of that stuff. And then they would actually collect the urine of the surrogate, and then they would drink it down. And then they would have their spiritual experience from the drinking the urine. So it does, the metabolites do come out, especially on psychedelics and natural components like that. And then they would be able to have their experience without having to go through a harsh detoxification or hangover or anything like that. So I would say, though, if you are doing some sort of an experience like that, first of all, what I believe is that those are the beginning stages of, like, for some people, spiritual progression. But when you get to a certain point, you can achieve way more from going within in deep meditation than you ever will be able to achieve through psychedelics and through any type of ceremony. I'm not against them. I'm not saying it's still natural. You're still using natural components from the earth. But when you get to a certain spiritual level, you should be able to go in and have those same experiences. Actually, I'll tell you a funny story. Prisoners in jails. I was talking to somebody who worked in the jailing system for years and years, and he said the prisoners would sneak drugs in, and like methamphetamine, like crystal meth. And then what they would do is they would take it and then they would pee on bread and soak the bread in their pee. And then they would hide the bread somewhere and the bread would dry. I mean, it would evaporate. All the liquid would evaporate in the bread. And then they would take pieces of the bread and sell them to other prisoners or take them themselves, and they would get high again because the methamphetamines would come out, and then they would just take chunks of the bread and re-eat it or sell it, and they would be able to get 2 doses out of it. So anyway, so that it does show you that, you do have some of those metabolites that still come out through your urine. So if you're doing anything like that, just skip the next day, especially if you go out and you drink a lot or something like that, and you're out late and just skip a day, and then you can start back up the following day. All right, so let's see. I will do a few more here. Would adding urine to my morning lemon water compromise it? No, not at all. No, you can add it. I mean, the water, it depends on what water you're using for your lemon water. Is your water tap water, or is your water like a really good distilled water? So I would do that. So this is from Jim. What about people that have genetically tested as really poor methylators? It's even better for you. I mean, what you're getting in your urine is actually the things that are going to help you regulate your poor methylation pathways or detox pathways are weakened. I mean, think about every single day, everything that you've identified that could be wrong with you or symptoms that you may be having, and a good percentage of the solution coming out in your urine every single day. That's what the urotherapy is. I mean, some people say that we've been given signals of this for years and years, like the statues that have been placed, especially like the mannequin piss, where it shows the young child peeing into the fountain and then the fountain coming back around and peeing again, like it's the circulation of life going back and forth and back and forth. And, you know, what if the urine is bubbly, smells, is not as yellowish? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's just a sign for you to know that you're doing something wrong in your life. You're consuming something that you shouldn't be consuming. Urine will really tell you, like I said before, urine will really tell you what you're doing wrong in your life and what you're consuming that you shouldn't be consuming. It'll actually help you tremendously change your diet. Not only that, but your urine will start evaporating fat from your body as well. Usually when you go into the second 90-day period, because a lot of your toxins are stored in your urine. So it'll start immobilizing, your metabolism will start correcting, and you'll start mobilizing fat. A lot of people end up losing, 10, 15, 20 pounds, or even 50, 100 pounds, because your fat starts to become mobilized and you start becoming better and better at burning fat. You shouldn't, if you have MTHFR, it doesn't matter, I mean, you can still take some methylcobalamin, some adenosylcobalamin, some hydroxycobalamin. It doesn't matter if your methylation pathways are off. Urine is actually one of the best things in the world for that, believe it or not. You know how hard it is for people with any type of detoxification pathways that are off, or anything that's going on in your body. It doesn't matter. It's like this is what is going to help repair that slowly over a period of time. Don't expect results overnight. I mean, like I said, it's a 1 year. It's really like a 1 year system. It's like the 90 days, and then the 90 days plus. So you will 100%. You'll start looking within a year. You'll look 20 years younger, guaranteed. It will regenerate you. You will start decline. You will start noticing things go away. You will start noticing all kinds of things happening. But the first 90 days, you might go through some detoxification. You might have headaches. You might have skin rashes break out. You might have blisters that pop out on your skin. Like, your body is pushing everything out. Is nebulizing urine effective? Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, funny thing is, it's like, how many people pee in the shower, right? It's almost like it's a natural thing that happens, but believe it or not, there's been people talking about that being a very effective way to breathe in, like steam showers. You pee in a steam shower and then you just breathe that in. Sometimes people set a bottle of aged urine next to their bed at night, and they swear by it. They say they just breathe the fumes of it in. So breathing the fumes of it is effective. In the old days, I used to put it on the stove or a fire and put a towel over and breathe it in. You should also, they call it drinking the urine through your nostrils. I mean, it's one of the things that is so invigorating, and it's great for your eyes to put drops of urine in your eyes. But then just, while you're drinking it, you can put some in your hand and just snort it and just let it go up into your nose, and it goes up to your brain, and it's amazing. It just wakes you up. It's really, really effective to use that way. So nebulizing, yes, you can put it in a nebulizer and just nebulize it into your lungs and into your sinuses. Is it safe for pregnant women? Yes, it is safe for pregnant women. So there's, I would say I haven't read extensively on that, but I have read, and we do have some, I think we have some research on the urotherapyresearch.com site about that, but it is safe. It is safe to take for pregnant women. And from what I've read, it's very effective to kind of help with mood swings, balance out the hormones. Remember that, you know, your baby is floating. If you're pregnant, your baby is floating and breathing and living in urine for 9 months. So I've also heard of people drinking pregnant women's urine, other women and other people drinking pregnant women's urine as well. What about IV urotherapy? Has that been studied or tested? Yeah, so everything I've read and everybody that I've talked to is pretty persistent to never use urine intravenously. However, like I said earlier, I don't know if that's completely accurate. I mean, I talked to a naturopathic medical doctor, and she's actually has done injections directly into the bloodstream. So I think the jury's still out on that. I would love to see more research done on that. And not only that, I am working with this practitioner actually, and we're going to be doing some testing like prolotherapy or platelet-rich plasma, being able to inject it directly into the joint space. Arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, or any type of healing. Like let's say somebody tears their ACL in their knee, their MCL, or any type of joint-based injury, to see if that could be effective at injecting it in there. We'll see. I mean, I think the jury's still open. I don't want to say no. I definitely don't want to say no, but we'll see. We'll see about it. Bubbles in urine are nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. Cloudy urine is nothing really to worry about either. You know, as you start doing this for kids, for example, it might be difficult to get your kids to start drinking their own urine. But what you can do is you can put it in their smoothie. You can put it in, like if your kid is sick, or if your kid has, you know, is injured, or they might be suffering from some sort of condition, you can just, you know, put it in their drinks, like their fruit juice or something. You're never even going to know it's there, most likely. You can just say, there was a doctor, I can't remember where he was, but he was a urotherapist. And what he would do is, for all of his patients, they didn't even know what he was using. I don't agree with that. I think you should always be upfront, and you should always tell everybody. But basically, this doctor had his patients bring them their first morning urine midstream every single day when they came to the doctor's office, or once a week, or however long. What he would do is he would say that he's got, you know, he was going to take it back in the back and test it. But what he did was he actually mixed a medicine in there with some elderberry and some other stuff, kind of like a little fruity drink. And then he would say, okay, well, here's your medicine for the day. And he would bring it out, and they would drink it down. And basically they were just drinking their own urine, but it was mixed in with some fruit juice. And he had incredible success doing that. So yeah, I mean, you can, you know, for kids, it's kind of hard to explain, but there's so many different uses. I mean, you can do enemas too, like I was saying, enemas. This is a good question. Will urotherapy regulate hormones and alleviate menopausal symptoms? Asking for a family member that's open to try it. I would say yes. I mean, everything that I've read, I mean, women swear by it. They're like, oh my gosh, I rub it in, I put a pack down on, you know, you can even douche with it. So the douching, the rubbing and massaging it over the pelvic area, and the drinking it. Yeah, because where do your hormones come out? Your hormones come out in your urine, you know, especially for hormone replacement therapy. Like, that's the hardest thing in the world to regulate, is somebody's hormones. You know, they change every single day, every single minute, every single second. So why not? I mean, the exact amount of hormones that you need are going to be in your urine to balance out your hormones. So that's probably one of the most effective things you can do. I'll do one more question. me find a good one. My father-in-law has bladder cancer. Would this help him? I mean, urine is incredibly effective for cancer. I would say read the books, go to the urotherapy.com, urotherapyresearch.com, read the books, take the urotherapy course. You know, the thing is, whenever you're trying to treat somebody else, this is what I learned with our cancer clinic and working with people for so many years. It's like, if they don't want to do it, it's really hard to talk somebody into doing it. I can't tell you how many times I've had calls or people, you know, women usually bringing their husband in and saying, you know, hey, I want you to do this, or bringing their mom in, or bringing anyone in, but it's not them personally. It's always, you know, somebody else bringing somebody else in to get healed. And if that person doesn't have, most of the time they don't believe in it. They're like, oh, I'm just doing this because my mom wanted me to do it. Or I'm just doing this because my husband wanted me to do it. Healing doesn't work as well that way. It still works, but you really want to educate them, you know, get them involved, get them excited, get them motivated to do it. And you can do that by, you know, them taking the course that we have, the urotherapy course on globalhealinginstitute.com, or just get all the information for free. We have the books on the PDFs for the books for free on there. But yes, it would help. Yes, it would help tremendously. There's a lot of case studies that we posted on the site with we put a whole conditions A to Z on there. You can scroll through there and look at all the conditions. The thing is, urotherapy helps every condition. It doesn't matter what it is, because it's your body working on your body. It's your body becoming the natural healer that it was meant to be, producing the natural medicine that you need, and your body being able to have the exact amount of everything that you need on a daily basis to heal whatever condition that you need to heal. Now, that's also, you know, you can't still be doing a bunch of crap in your life and living a horrible lifestyle and, you know, eating, you know, toxic foods and beverages and all that stuff. I mean, you can, and it's still going to help. But I mean, in reality, what you really want to do is you want to change, you want to become better. You want to become cleaner. You want to become better, and you want to live a happy and healthy life. And I'll end it on this note. One last question. Will urotherapy help me with my emotions? Because everybody's on an emotional roller coaster ride right now. It's not your fault, because the frequencies they're sending out with the 5G are altering our brain transmissions right now. They've been playing around for the last year with frequencies that create anger inside of you, frequencies that cause you to become depressed, frequencies that cause you to not even feel like you're just floating around in it like a twilight zone, like a black hole. Like all this attack on you with the amount of chemicals and the amount of harmful organisms, the amount of chemicals and toxins in the food that are purposely put there, in the beverages that are purposely put there, and the tap water that are purposely put there. Now you have the electromagnetic frequencies, the harmful ones that we have to deal with. I mean, listen, it's not necessarily your fault if you're suffering from anxiety and depression and stress and all these conditions. Urine therapy works amazing for that. Urotherapy will help you tremendously with any type of emotional disturbances that you have. It really will. It'll give you self-confidence. It'll help calm you down. It will actually is very effective at blocking electromagnetic frequencies. Also recommend iodine for that. I'll recommend supercharged C60 for that. But it's amazing. I mean, I've seen it myself. Like one day I was at a hotel. They had a cell phone tower. I can feel that the EMFs. They're putting these 5G towers everywhere. I could feel it like in my body. I just felt like I was in the twilight zone. I was like, what the heck is going on? I can't even think straight. And the urotherapy, I took some C60, I took some iodine, the supercharged C60. I'm not talking about regular C60. I'm talking about the supercharged C60. Took some of that, and it was just like within 30 minutes, and then just me drinking my urine, I was just almost I was pretty much back to normal. amazing for emotional disturbances and emotional roller coaster rides. So anyway, that's it for today. I know there's a million questions. I'm going to get to more. I'm going to be doing something, posting another video with Q&As. But if you do have any more questions, all the questions that you will have, all the protocols, how to use it, the best way to do it, how to do an enema, how to drink it, all that is on the urotherapyresearch.com website. I explain it all in the urotherapy course on the globalhealinginstitute.com. So, yeah, I mean, thank you so much for tuning in. We are the spiritual warriors out there. We are the healthcare warriors. We are the healers. We are the ones that are all trying to help humanity raise consciousness. I just want to thank every single one of you on this call, because I know you're out there doing the exact same thing. And thank you for being open-minded. Thank you for listening to this today. And thank you for sharing this information with as many people as you can. Wish you the best, as always, in health, in life. And until next time, live healthy, live happy.